What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So shouts out to my brother Ron. Shouts out to Fight Hype. Ron Goodell, he did an interview with strength and conditioning coach, well-renowned strength and conditioning coach. A great interview I watched. I actually watched it twice with Rob Acosta, who I'm not sure if he still trains with Jerron Boots Ennis, the Phenom, but he was the strength and conditioning coach for Jerron Boots Ennis, and that's where I met Rob. Great interview. If you have not watched this interview, if you like the details of the sport of boxing and the details, I'm a nerd of it, so I like to hear how the little nuances, the little details of, how a guy's going to cut weight, how a guy can gain weight and have success, right? And Rob and Ron, they had a great interview. Go check this out, this interview in its totality. It's on Fight Hype with Ron Goodell and Rob Acosta, right? And Rob breaks down the difficulties for, and I'm going to reach out to Rob and see if get him on the show, but he broke down the difficulties for two first ballot Hall of Famers in their upcoming super fight between the pound for pound king, undefeated 4-division world champion, Terrence Bud Crawford, who has 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout, and Terrence Bud Crawford is a 2-division undisputed champion. August 3rd, he fought against Israel Madrimov at 154, became a 4-division champion, and his first fight at 154. Now, in September, he's going to jump up to 168, 14 pounds, and he's going to challenge another first ballot Hall of Famer, another 4-division world champion, another former undisputed champion who's going for a 2-time undisputed May 3rd in Mexican superstar and pound for pound, top 5, top 10 best fighters in the world, and Saul Canelo Alvarez, who has a record of 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout, and he has beaten 18 world champions in his career, Canelo Alvarez has. Now, Rob breaks this down so beautifully, right? Just coming from a guy who's doing strength and condition and listening to what he said and how he said it, the difficulties for Canelo coming down and cutting the weight, and the difficulties for Terrence Crawford going up in weight, but he's still going to be cutting weight, right? Because Terrence Crawford typically walks around probably about 180 pounds, as Rob broke it down, and Canelo probably walks around at about 190 pounds, right? And Canelo is more acclimated to fighting at 168 pounds, obviously, because he's been fighting there for a few years now, okay? He has actually made his debut at 168 pounds back in 2019. So for 6 years, Canelo Alvarez has been campaigning, 2020, excuse me. And so for 5 years, when he made his debut fighting Caleb Smith at 168. Now, here's the thing. Canelo jumped from 160, okay? When he fought Danny Jacobs in May of 2019, he jumped up from 160 and he faced off against the WBO light heavyweight world champion and future Hall of Famer Sergey Crusher Kovalev. So he jumped up 15 pounds in one fight, right? And again, he fought him in May. Then he fought Sergey in November. So he made that jump in less than a year, right? He jumped up in May, 160. In November, he fought at 175, and he knocked out Kovalev. Now, there's a little question mark about it, but in the 11th round, he knocked out Kovalev, right? Then he came back down to 168, and that's when he made his debut against Caleb Smith for the vacant WBC and Caleb Smith's WBA title at 168. But with that said, Rob, he broke it down how Canelo is acclimated to 168. So when he cuts the weight, he's used to moving around with the weight. to where Terrence Crawford is going to cut the 12 pounds if he typically walks around. And he's hypothetically speaking, because he don't for sure 100% know what Terrence Crawford walk around weight is. Nobody does outside of Terrence Crawford and his team. But he says that he's going to cut the 12 pounds, and now he's going to essentially almost be fighting at the weight he walks around at, right? Because he broke it down to, now he's going to make 168, but when he rehydrate, how much is he going to rehydrate? At max, is he going to rehydrate more than 12 pounds, right? Now, it's said that when Terrence Crawford fought Israel Majimov, he rehydrated up to 172 or something like that, 173. Somebody even said 174, 175. Terrence Crawford weighed the night. I don't know. That's 20 pounds. But from 154, he weighed at, I would say, 170, right? So he gained about 15 to 16 pounds, okay, rehydrating. So let's say he fights at 68, I could see him going back to like 180, 182. But again, that goes back to what Rob is saying. Now he's going to compete at the way he walks around at, right? And how is he going to fare with that, carrying that weight in a 12-round fight, you know, with the weight that he walks around at? It's different, right? Because you know, he's an athlete, he's a mover, right? And that's going to take a toll on his movement, to where Canelo's more of lethargic, you know, flat-footed, don't exert a lot of energy type of fighter, right? But again, we've seen it done. Again, we saw and Ron rightfully asked him, but we seen Bernard Hopkins do it, right? Bernard Hopkins jumped from 160 to 175, and he beat Antonio Tarver. So we seen Canelo jump 15 pounds, and we seen Bernard Hopkins jump 15 pounds up. That's more than the 14 pounds for Crawford. Now, the thing is, Bernard Hopkins and Canelo competed at 160 for a duration of a period of time, where Terrence Crawford only had one fight at 154. See, their body was used to fighting at 160, then they jumped to 15 pounds. So essentially, Terrence Crawford is jumping 21 pounds because his body is still, in the mind of Rob, is at 147. Because he only had one fight at 154, where they had multiple fights. Both of them had over 4 to 5 fights at 160, where he's had one fight at 154. So he's essentially a welterweight at 147, jumping up the fight at his walk around weight. This makes this fight so intriguing, so interesting, right? And this is why I can't wait to see it. And this is why it's a super fight. And this is why you got to give Terrence Crawford his flowers, right? If Terrence Crawford wins this fight, he's solidifying himself, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, as top 5 pound for pound greatest fighters in boxing history. Where you rank him in that top 5, subject to opinion. But boy, oh boy, that would be a masterpiece. So let's see how it unfolds and plays out, man. But that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Go check out this interview in its totality. It's on Fight Hype. Ron Goodell did it, and it's Rob Acosta, the former. I don't know if he's still with Boots Ennis or he was with Boots Ennis, but he's the strength and condition coach, well-renowned, and he trained Boots Ennis. So go check that interview out, man. I loved it. I'm probably going to watch it again. That's all I got for y'all, man. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.